I dropped the doc in our chats,
Oh, this speaks to me.
right?
Oh, this speaks to me. Oh my God. I've ended friendships over this crap.
Ooh.
Yes,
People love it. People love to misunderstand.
they do. They do. Oh my gosh. Take it
Yes.
away.
Yeah, so tonight's topic is the courage to be misunderstood. I guess we could just start with, since it spoke to you so much, Daniel, what exactly does that mean to you?
It means to me let me say it this way. It means to me that you gotta be willing to do shit nobody else is gonna like, and it's gonna be uncomfortable as hell because it's not the well-worn path that everybody is used to taking. And when I was saying earlier, oh, this speaks to me, Publix. Oh my God. When I showed an interest in real estate and I wanted to get my license at first, everybody was like, no, the market's not good,
Mm.
and gotta work for your pay and whatnot. At least this is guaranteed. You'll get a salary every as long as you clock in. I'm like, nope. My store manager was telling me, no, no, you can build a good career here at Publix. I'm like,
Mm.
I saw the grass on the other side. It is very much greener than Publix, and that's saying a lot. So that's where I'm relying off of that personal experience. Because truth be told, I'll give credit to my W-2 where credit is due.
Yeah.
They did help me break out of my shell. They did help me give me my personality to talk to people that now thrives in real estate. But in order to build a career with Publix, I would have to be conformed, making sure I clock in on time, don't be 7 minutes late, making sure that I do tedious shit that I hated doing. But everybody's, we love doing it. You just do the same thing over and over again. I'm like, nope. And I was like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, what's wrong with you? Shit. Like I drank the Kool-Aid early on when I first started, but now it tastes too sour for me. And what sucked about it too, because I read the prompt and the last part got to me as well. What did it cost you to stay silent? I tried being silent about it. Nope. Very much verbal about what's on my mind. Not to the point where I'm being a dick about it. It's just if I think of an idea of how to make money or how to start up a business, I gotta talk to someone. And that was at that point in time. I was like, you guys don't understand how easy it is to make money. And then someone would be like, huh? What you mean? Hear me out. Hear me out, bro. If you ever seen like the Cartoon Network show, Ed and Eddie, and you got one of the Eds that was like the scheming one, be like, hey guys, this is what we're gonna do for 50 bucks a day. We're gonna be rich. That was me. That was me.
It's hilarious.
So I'm like scheming up these ideas of, hey, hear me out. Real estate license, get a couple people, be a referral agent, build up in order to get some properties, get some clients, buyers, and all that stuff. Next thing you know, like a freaking ping pong machine, pinball, I should say. Because staying silent made me think twice about the ideas and made me not want to move forward with anything at all. Because if you can't talk about it, if you can't be open about it, then you're not going to do anything about it. I didn't think that me talking about it back then would help me gain friends, but it actually did. I'm grateful for it. So no, fuck being silent unless it's talking to another buyer. Hey, we could probably squeeze you in at this price. Hey, guy, but put in 260, 260. We got you. Yeah, we need you to do 270. All jokes aside, hated it. And with my friends too back then, probably heard me tell the story before about how I wanted the high life, right? Like Harvey Specter from Suits. Everybody likes this. I like this. So my friends back in the day hated it. They wanted to pay rent, get a low cost Nissan Altima that was for cheap. Nothing wrong with it. Go over to the thrift store every single time, which again, don't mind it, just not for me. I'm more of a Ross Burlington kind of guy instead of Goodwill. I'm bougie. And then on top of that too, they were cool with going to like a Chili's or Applebee's, but I was the kind of guy to like, I want Outback. I want Texas Roadhouse. Texas de Brazil. Oh, give it to me. So just conflicting mindsets because again, like I liked this and I know what it's gonna take to get there, but they didn't see it. And even then, if they wanted to be here for free, and I was like, no, we got to put in some work. I hate it. I'll be the first one to tell you, fuck this. And that's when we clashed heads, and I was like, no, you don't understand. So bye.
When you start learning about yourself more, it's hard to stay in that same mindset as other people. When you start like getting that taste of what it feels like to be yourself and be goofy and have people actually dig that, you're like, why am I even over here? Like, why am I with these people who don't get it, who don't see like the benefits of whatever it is, right? People who aren't into mindset. I'm like, it's cool, man. Like, you do you. I've seen what it does over here, and I'm gonna keep doing the woo woo. And I don't care as much what people think because I was just actually listening to a podcast while I was mowing the lawn, and she had this. It was Rodhy. Do you know who that is? Jay
I've
Shetty's
heard of him.
wife.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I was
She has a
thinking him. So
podcast
sorry.
called A Really Good Cry. And she was talking about how when you realize that, because she had a really hard time being misunderstood. She's like the sweetest freaking person on the planet, right? And she would read comments of people like, ugh, she's so mean, or ugh, she's so fake. And she'd be like, where's this coming from? I don't understand what you want from me. And when she realized everyone comes to the table with their own set of lenses, with their own set of judgments, with their own sets of baggage, she's like, I'm never going to make these people happy. That's not my job. My job is to show up as myself, to show up as my authentic self, and to live my life in a way that fills my cup, that is reaching my goals. And the people who get it are going to get it, and the people who don't aren't. And that's going to happen no matter who you are, no matter what you put yourself out there as, whether you stay silent or not. They're going to judge you. They're going to have an opinion. Like, think about your own parents. You know what I mean? We've all done things that our parents didn't love. We've all presented ourselves in a way that our parents don't like. And it's like, if you can't even make like the people who love you the most happy, there's no way you're going to please the world. And so you just got to do you, and you've got to figure that out with trial and error and not be hard on yourself.
Yeah, I would agree. Being hard on myself was another issue too, but I would say for a different reason. Not because of what other people were telling me. In a manner of speaking, yes, because of what they were telling me, hey, take it easy. But I'm like, no, I see how you are. I don't want to be you. So part of the reason why I was hard on myself, but it was because of what they're saying, just in a different manner.
I think a lot of it too points to just like your values, right? Because if you think of, there's so many things you can be misunderstood about anything. It could be like
Anything.
politics, it could be like your habits, your eating lifestyle, your the way you work out. Like people want to talk about the diet. There's so many different things that different things work for different people. And sometimes it's hard for other people to understand too that just let what works for someone else work for them. A lot of things, it goes back to, and not everybody believes this, but people building their own narratives based off of what they believe in is a real thing, I believe, because I've seen it firsthand. Like the person that lives their life in a way that they think good things happen to them, typically good things do. And the person
Mm-hmm.
that lives in a way where they have to be worried about every little thing or they can get sick easily, whatever, like that happens for them too.
Yeah,
It's just, it's interesting. I feel like lately I have been in a place where I would rather just stay to myself to protect the peace. Like sometimes I think a season of being very careful of who I allow into my energy, I think is important because there's so many different people wanting to offer, and a lot of the times it comes from a good place, but just if you're in a season of trying to build something, sometimes it's good to just be in your hole for a little bit and not share with people the details while you're in the process of building.
for sure. I don't remember who it was. Someone, I think it might have been Meg. And she was talking about how her parents, her dad always had something to say. And I'm like, so stop
Hmm.
telling him. You have no obligation to tell these people anything. You know what I mean? And if you do, just recognize that because you shared, they have the right to say something.
I
They,
think it's also just like you have to switch that off. Like sometimes we feel obligated to share
I
because
know,
somebody asked. And if you think about it, like you really don't.
you really
But
don't.
not answering can feel weird too, or like setting that boundary of, oh, I'm keeping that to myself, or oh, I'd rather, and then people feel offended. Oh, where's that coming from? So it's
Yeah.
just,
Choose your hard, right?
yeah.
Like it's always that answer is choose your hard. And I always bring my friends up. They are uncomfortably private to where watching them respond to other people makes me so uncomfortable. And they're so confident in their, I don't care what you think. They will not, they won't even tell you if that's their child right there. You know what I mean? It's hilarious. And they're so okay with it. And I just remember being like, other people think they're weird, right? Like, other
Hmm.
people are like, oh my gosh, they're so weird. They make everything so difficult. I don't know how you spend time with them. And I'm like, I admire it because it takes so much courage to have people look at you funny because you refuse to tell them your whole life story. And it's
Hmm.
like, I owe you nothing. I remember her boyfriend. the father of her children, coming to a work Christmas party, and he's this 6'5" basketball player, and people would be like, "So, where have you been? How's life?" And he's like, "I've been around," very confidently. And they're like, "Okay, like where?" And he's like, "Places." And there's just like this awkward, like, they don't know what to say because you're clearly not giving them anything. And I remember sitting there being like, this is so cringe, but I love it. I love every second because they're not getting anything out of it, and he's not having to share more than he's comfortable with. I don't know you people. Why do you think you deserve to know where I've been and what I've been doing? It makes no difference to you and at the end of the
Mhm.
day, right? Like you don't truly care. And so if it's something that you're truly protecting, they're the same way about their children. They don't talk about their kids, they don't talk about what they're doing, they don't talk about how they're parenting, they don't talk about the way that they give birth, they don't talk about any of it because they don't want the opinions and they don't care what you have to say. And so if I don't want your input, then why would I give you the opportunity to give it? So, yeah, it's something that does take courage. That's why it's called the courage to be misunderstood. Because people could look at them and think like they're trying to hide something, or that they're ashamed, or that they're weird, or that they're bums, or whatever people might want to label them as. And it's like if you don't care what these people think, then you just live your life in authenticity. And I think that's amazing.
I love it. Yeah, I think right here, talking about the mindset shift of shifting from I need others to agree before I move forward to I'm willing to be misunderstood in order to live authentically, just goes right into that. Like you said, the courage plays hand in hand. And I think you only build the courage by repetition. So, the first few times it's going to feel out of the box or uncomfortable, and but the more you do it, the more you're like, okay, this is who I am. Then it almost becomes like expectation, like you know how someone's going to receive what you say. So like the first time you're like, dang, I don't know how they're going to take this. Then it becomes repetitive, but you know how to address the situation and ideally get to a point where you're doing it in a way where people come to respect you for that and
Yeah.
understand that like you're just protecting your peace.
Yeah. It's nothing personal at all. And it's only people who, okay, so dang, I'm going to mess this quote up, but
Don't worry. Not like you're on a spotlight.
it's something like only the people who profit from you staying the same are going to care if you change. Something along those lines, right? People who get something from you by you staying the way that you are going to have a problem with you when you change. And
Mhm.
so if you start protecting your peace more, if you start living in alignment and not caring if people misunderstand you, the only people who are going to care are the people who are enjoying the fact that you are like them. And so when you start acting differently, whether it's you quit drinking or you start working out more or you become an entrepreneur and you're no longer doing the 9 to 5, like whatever it is that you used to align with them on, now they're looking at their life like, should I be doing something different? Like somehow you're making them uncomfortable. And that's the only reason that they care that you're doing something different. It's a selfish reason. It has nothing to do about your life most of the time.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah,
We can move into the reframe, which I think we touched on, but
totally.
being
Because it does
misunderstood.
come with being scared, that
Yeah.
like fear.
Yeah, that first part is getting to me though. If no one needed to get it, what would I pursue boldly? Man, I would say definitely for the most part, me and a family, billionaire, trillionaire lifestyle, if you will. Nobody needs to understand that. But part of the reason why I want to attain that certain level of wealth is so that way literally nothing can be an issue. Towards, hey, Chipotle every day for a year. Finally, I got something to eat.
You live in that Hormozy lifestyle?
Pretty much. So along that lines, and it don't get me wrong, it would be nice to have that level of wealth, and even certain people in the entrepreneur circles that we're in, they're like, I just want to be comfortable. But again, going back to the Harvard thing, like here, because everything's easier here.
Yeah, and
At
your
this
level
point,
of comfort could be a completely different level of comfort than someone else.
exactly. Don't get me wrong, still be tedious with a budget, make sure I'm mindful of the money and then some. But if I got to pay for a service in order to get 10% more return on my investments when I'm doing commercial property for lead CRM or whatever, hell yeah, I don't want it to be always like, I gotta crunch some numbers, make it work. No, I'll just be like, done, come on, let's go. Like on to
Yeah,
the next. That's part of the reason why attaining that level would be fantastic. I want to have the struggle of figuring out the hell kind of color I'm gonna wrap this G7 in. Very good question. Shit like that.
yeah,
But also, it's the one thing that a lot of people have been clashing with me over, especially the friends back then. They're like, "Oh, I'll be happy if I just get a commercial flight. We bougie up in this bitch. We need first class. I not only need my space, but I want to be able to eat good food when I'm up in the air." And that
Yeah.
would clash too. Don't get me wrong. If I need to sleep in the car, crack open the windows, and that's it. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the other thing that people don't understand as well. Towards, oh, you're just want to be rich and everything, and take away from the poor. And it's no, not really. I do want to be rich, but not take away from the poor. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't do things that poor people would, like you think in your mindset. Have I considered being homeless in order to save money? Oh, absolutely. But that's part of the reason why I want to be wealthy enough because it comes from a possible experience or a life, a different perspective, a different place in life that I was in. To the point where I was like, yeah, no, fuck that. Like Wolf of Wall Street, but in a more humble version, be like, I've been a poor man, I've been a rich man, and I choose to deal with my problems being rich. Same shit. And
Mm.
everybody thinks being rich is a problem. And it took me a hot minute to go from Robin Hood to now Jeff Bezos. I was Robin Hood at one point. I'm like, these motherfuckers, you got $20 and you can't even give $1 away. Now I was like, what are you gonna do with that $1 if I give it to you? That's the real question. Shit like that.
Yeah, it's less about the money and more about the mindset, I feel,
Yep.
when it comes to anything, truthfully. But when it comes to the differences between you and your friends, it's not about what can be done or what you're comfortable with. It's about setting like uncomfortable goals for yourself. And people don't want to be uncomfortable. Like they
Oh
don't
God, no.
want that uncomfortable. Yeah, but sure I could have that, but I'd rather have this. And that's going to take longer to get there. And you're going to look at me like I'm a moron because that's what I want. You're going to think that's not possible. You're going to think that I'm doing too much for it or it's never going to happen or whatever. And I don't care. And it's the people who see that same like ambition and they're like, respect.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy. We all know that, right? But what is living the
Oh
way
no.
you want is worth it to you. And so having that level of a misunderstanding, like I still have a lot of friends who have 9 to 5s and they see my like up and down monthly income as insanity. What do you mean some months you make 10,000 and some months you make 4? What do you mean? How does that possible? How do you live your life like that? And I'm like, it's not a good time. I'm not over here like this is the best thing in the world. Would I like consistent 10,000, $20,000 months? Absolutely. Do I
Oh
recognize
yeah.
that there's a journey to get there? Yeah. Am I living the life that I would rather have than working a soul sucking 9 to 5? 100 fucking percent. 100%. And so that takes a lot of like misunderstanding of people like just they don't get it and that's okay. I don't think less of them for not getting it, but I also recognize that sometimes in order to protect your peace, like Jackie was saying, you don't tell them everything. You don't necessarily have to share everything because you could and deal with the reaction, or you could choose to keep it to yourself and have that uncomfortable, I can't tell these people everything. And that sucks. But I also don't have to deal with a, what do you mean, look, when things
Right.
aren't smooth.
I stopped caring a while ago a little bit.
I love that for you.
Like with my parents, for example, I never really asked them for advice on anything.
Mm.
Like after college, especially with this kind of stuff, because I knew it wasn't stuff they did. And I knew that one, since they haven't done it, their advice probably wouldn't be that great. But also, I don't know how to put it. Sometimes somebody can say something and it might not even be like, there could be no malintent or something, but they say something that's slightly, I don't say negative, but not positive. And then it might bring you down a little bit. Things like that.
Sure.
Or I don't know. I just never really needed them to understand what I was doing. And after that, they started seeing what I was doing. And then they like want a part of it. Not a part of it in that way,
Nice.
but they're like, oh, they're like more open to exploring it now. And I don't blame them because I came from a very scarce kind of mindset, like a
Hmm.
scarcity mindset. So I don't never really expected them to, if I just said do this, that it'll happen. But yeah, they've been a lot more. One second. All right. I was all the way in their left lane. I didn't take an exit. Okay. And also, like, when it comes to, like, my, I guess, aunts and stuff like that, you want to talk about you to their, whatever, their people or aunts, uncles,
Yeah.
friends, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I never really cared about that. So I'm like, when I first started doing real estate stuff, I was like, I told them not to say anything to anybody. But then at a certain point, I was like, I don't even care anymore. You can say whatever you want to. I don't even, but even when it's like, when I stopped working, right? That sounds bad to people, especially if you're like work is how you identify. but that
Mm-hmm.
was never really like an issue there for me, so I don't really care. But I will say, not identifying work, but then after a while, the break started getting it went from a little retirement to like feeling like unemployment. So I'm like, okay, so that's when I started like doing the flipping stuff because I was like, okay, starting to not enjoy this as much anymore. But yeah,
You're no longer gainfully unemployed, you're just
yeah,
unemployed.
yeah. So I was like, okay, time for that. But I don't really. I was never like when I stopped working. It didn't bring me down. I was never embarrassed to
Hmm.
say it. It wasn't something that like I cared if anybody knew or anything. I didn't feel ashamed
Yeah.
of it or anything. Because also it's something I wanted to do. It wasn't something that like happened to me. I guess technically it did happen to me, but also I wanted it.
Hmm.
So yeah, I guess it's a combo of that. But I guess it has to do with like alignment. And since I felt aligned with what I was doing, I didn't really care.
Nice.
Totally. I think alignment can give you courage of literally, this feels too good. This feels too right for me to care what other people think.
Yeah, exactly. So
I like it. I think it's good. I think you hit the nail on the head there.
Totally.
I do have a question. This popped into my head when Raul was talking, but for Daniel, in terms of when it came to seeking a special lady friend, I feel like you're more of a different kind of guy. Like you were looking for something a little more intentional, and sometimes, especially at your age, that can be a misunderstanding when you're going on dates with other girls. Like, how was that process for you?
I can sum it up with one sentence, and that would be actions speak louder than words.
One more
Uh,
time for the people in the back.
talking about your actions or their actions?
oh, there's
Okay.
100%.
Oh, I was thinking yours. But great
No,
question, Raul.
yeah, that was a really excellent question. No, there's
Okay.
so credit to Publix again. It gave me the work ethic of letting my work speak for itself. And it was like, hey, they asked me to do something, I'll do it, or I'll try to be proactive. That then translated into how I am now, especially because of the guidance that my parents gave me. And people were like, oh, I want a solid, committed relationship. Oh, I'm all about communication. Oh, I have goals for myself and this and that. Cool. What kind of goals you have for yourself at the moment?
Your
Oh,
voice octave change right there was
yeah. Because this is to show like
cool.
this is literally to show how the conversation went. This is my exact tone. Be like, cool. What kind of goals do you have at the moment?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to go on Bali. I'm like, all right, that's a goal. What do you do for work? I'm like, I'm a nanny. Okay. Do you plan on making a business out of it? No, I just like the money. Fuck me. All right, girl. Like for food. No boo. Oh, this bitch. It's literally that type of stuff.
Do
Because
we
then
even
they'll
have a Nobu here?
no, but apparently there was some girls that like from Georgia, Atlanta, and I think there's like a Nobu up there.
Dang.
And coming from St. Pete, Tampa, especially with the new crowd that came in. Don't get me wrong, suit, tie, definitely bougie, have a great nightlife and whatnot. But I think there's a really fine balance between living that kind of lifestyle with a stable head on your shoulders. And I guess almost everybody is asking for the same thing I was asking for, which is a freaking unicorn. Being able to be energetic, happy-go-lucky like me, but at the same time, keep yourself grounded. Don't let anything affect you for the most part. Don't be drunk 24 freaking 7 or do all the time. And with me, when it came to seeking out a partner, it was me looking for that unicorn because I'm like, okay, I want someone that kind of matches my energy, but in their own way. But definitely to the point to where I'm the man of the relationship. Let me be the man. You're the woman of the relationship. Be the woman. Be in your feminine energy and let me protect it. Thank God I found this girl because in her own way, she does have to be a bit masculine, if you will, strong, but it's because she's an ICU nurse. So there is a certain level of you got to be on top of your shit that's expected in that line of
Mm-hmm.
work.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when she comes home and I'm there, I don't mind taking care of her. Be like, babe, I know you're tired. Want me to cook you some breakfast? Or she'll do the same thing for me. And it's to feed off of each other and balance off of each other, if you will, that not everybody can freaking do. Some people are like, oh, I'm looking for me in female form. And yeah, it could possibly work. But are you okay with your own quirks? Are you okay with the bullshit that you tell yourself? It was like, oh yeah, I'm working out, and really it's only a 10-minute walk. Okay, I'm done for the day. And then go back to watching TV, Netflix, binge watching Love Island 24/7. Fuck that. And
Yeah.
so going back to what I mean by like actions speak louder than words, I had girls tell me like, oh yeah, I love to read, like I love to be about my mindset. But needless to say, going back to what you mentioned about the partner that I wanted, I'm gonna be completely truthful here. And Raul, this applies to you since you're a dude, so there's a little bit of guy talk. You want to be a dog? Be a fucking dog. No doubt about it. But to me, I'm always gonna be on the lookout for that one girl. And if you find that one girl, clean up your act. Needless to say, I did clean up my act way before I met her. But it was also because my thought process was if I want to be a loving, caring husband later on and be the perfect boyfriend relationship, I gotta stop being a dog.
My thinking, whenever I hear people like, I got duped, the guy just ended up being a dog, I'm always so irritated because it's like there are plenty of girls out here who just want to have a good time. Go play with them. I don't understand why you got to go lie to this person who clearly wants to be in a relationship. Like, I don't understand it. Go be with the girls who want to have a good time. There's plenty out there.
Oh,
I know
absolutely.
them. I've seen them. I've met them. They're out there.
Yeah.
Like, go do your thing. There's no shame in it. Live your life. But misleading people, there's just no need for it because there's plenty of people who are down for what you're down for. So
Right.
when you said actions speak louder than words, I'm glad that she matched her actions to her words. But I just assumed it was you because,
But did you have to be misunderstood to get there? Because it sounds like you would have these conversations with these girls, and people always want to put their best foot forward, and then it's not matching what you're trying to do. And then you're like, this is
Mm.
who I really am. This is what I'm really looking for. I don't think we're, and then having to like have be the bigger person and end those relationships versus stringing the other person along. I'm sure it's not easy to have those conversations and stuff.
It isn't. And to add a cherry on top to that as well, then comes the issue to where some of the girls that did understand what I was doing, the conversation would progress, but then the way that they were speaking and the way that they were portraying themselves now became a matter of, okay, is this girl for me or is this girl just for the benefits? Because then they understood the entrepreneurial lifestyle. Then they understood the goals that I have in mind and the vision, and they could see it. But do they see it to where there's a relationship involved, or do they see it to where it's 50-50? And then next, like some of the athletes nowadays, they get an NFL contract, their girlfriend's like, oh, let's get married. A year later, divorce. No, that ain't the game I want to play.
hmm
And what I loved about the girl I'm with now, she was very unafraid to ask a lot of deep questions. And I was taken aback because I'm like, I'm usually the one asking the deep questions. Hold on. Whoa, hold on. Let me reciprocate conversations that we had having deep questions and come to find out we definitely meshed together on a couple of things. So one thing that we were different to give you an idea was she only likes talking to one people at a time. Me, I'm like, yeah, I gotta stop being a dog. All right. So that's one thing that we're different.
I
But
think
one,
that's so. I would, if I can interject, I feel
yeah,
like for girls who are actually like intentional and trying to do that, like it's hard. I can't do that. When I was on dating apps, I was like, I can't stand this. And it
right.
sucks because you end up putting all of your stuff into one bucket and then that person doesn't work out and you're like, dang it, how many other people that I dismissed would have might have been better? But you're like, I can't do it. I can't pretend that I like all of you. I can't. And so
You just reminded me of a crude joke. And as entrepreneurs, I'm pretty sure y'all will get it. Every dating app is like a CRM,
Oh my
and you're
God.
going to be fishing for leads one way or another. You got warm leads, you got hot leads, and then you got deals closed. But in this case, you just want one deal closed.
that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah.
Oh, and that's another thing too. Oh, Jesus, this girl right here. I'm thinking about her again. There's been a couple of times where she'll send me like lovey-dovey relationship stuff and whatnot. And don't get me wrong, I'm into it. But I'll send her stuff that I see from Leia Hermosi as well. Because
Right.
Leia's talking about relationships, what they're doing, thinking about whatnot, and how her and Alex are. Tested the waters real quick, sent it to her because I thought Leia at one point was a little bit too extreme for her. But for me, I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Next thing you know, I 100% agree. I'm like, oh, take me now, please. You understand?
I
So
think that's smart. I think it's smart to send those little testers out. I think that's great.
it is. No, it is because it's like we all do it on social media. We send certain memes to certain people that we think have a certain set of humor or, oh, this applies to them. Why not do the same thing for who you're trying to be with as well and see if y'all are on the same lines? It worked out fantastic. And another thing too was I did ask her a deep question, and this always stirs the fucking pot. But I love it because then it's like a cause for conversation. I know which side of the camp I'm on. And me, I'm like, the deep question that I asked her was, all right, I know we just started talking to each other, but you've been asking deep questions. Allow me to reciprocate. How do you feel about a prenup? And just left it at that.
hmm
All the girls are like, oh, I don't know, this, that, whatever. Like, why do you think that? Or on the complete opposite side, be like, oh my God, you don't love me? You don't care for me? I'm like, I know which side of the camp you're on.
Right.
Her, I shit you not. She goes, yes, I don't mind it not one bit. I'm like, please explain. This is a different reaction than what I was expecting. I don't have to put in any work for this. And she goes, I'm pretty sure you're thinking about it. What's yours is yours. What's mine is mine. But at the same time, we'll take care of each other. Maybe have a joint account and whatever's in there. Go ahead. Literally jaw dropped moment. And then I try to explain to her, because here's my thing. It's like that insurance policy you don't want to use. Everybody gets car insurance, but please, dear God, don't let us get into a car accident. Same thing with renters insurance, homeowners insurance, same thing. So the way I see it, it's another type of insurance policy to where God forbid we ever have to use it. But if we do, it's already taken care of instead of months, years dragged out for some bullshit. And some people can't seem to get past that idea of why it's there to begin with. It's to make sure that everything else is handled afterwards, like a sub two deal with a fucking performance clause. God forbid we forget to make payments on a date that it's supposed to be due. But if we fail to do so within a certain time frame, everything else is laid out afterwards. And after I explained it to her, she's like, I agree. I'm like, yeah, your wife, come here. So all jokes aside, getting back to the point, it's I love Patrick Bet David Forrest, and I also want to do what he says as well. He's a podcast that I watch a lot. Not recently, but back in my Total Wine and More days, coming in early, headphone, watch a podcast. And there was one video he
What
mentioned
you
to where,
said his name really fast. Would you say Patrick what?
sorry, Patrick Bet David.
Okay,
The PBD podcast.
got it.
Yes, love it. And I was first watching his content for the entrepreneur stuff he put out years ago, and now his podcast is blown up. But I'm bringing him up because this is something that I do want to do with my girl, and he actually inspired me to do this. He said that he bought a book that him and his wife did at one point. And what the book was like 150 something questions to ask your partner before you get married. And it goes, we went through it one by one. I've yet to look into the book. But my mindset is, all right, I look up to PBD. I feel like he has an amazing relationship, especially being a partier, a dog back in the day that he mentioned. Let me go into that as well, because if it works for him and he's successful in my eyes, I need to do the same thing too. But I feel like a part of that has already been headed on by my girl and I already. It's just taking that next step further before it's like, all right, it's a for sure thing. I'll admit, I'm pretty much 100% positive this is a for sure thing just because my bond with her, I haven't really felt with anybody else other than a chitty bang, all right, see you later, bye type deal. With her, we're constantly talking to each other. We're on FaceTime pretty much every day, even after I like go away from her house straight to work after I spend a weekend with her. Still FaceTiming her on my drive home, still checking up on her with text messages. So the constant communication is there. And I'm like, oh yeah, you love to communicate. You're showing it too, which is fantastic. Sending each other memes, fantastic. And then not only that, she goes, it's the small things that I appreciate. I'm like, I got you, baby. And I'll put out too, to where it's like she's sleeping on the couch. I'm still doing work on the table. And I'm like, okay, let me make the bed for her real quick. So I'll make the bed for her. And then I'm like, hey, come on, let's go to bed because she's drop dead tired. I'm a night owl. She'll look at me and she goes, like, you really do care for me. I'm like, that's the small things. I made the bed for
Mm.
you so that we have a nice crisp bed to go to sleep in. And I also filled you up your Stanley cup with water, no ice, because I know you don't like it cold. So that way you can have a drink late at
Room
night.
temperature water, sir, is the answer to life.
Yeah, and then there's my dumbass, which goes for ice cold water in the middle of the night. Be like, huh? Needless to say, no, like I digress. Point being is, she says, yeah, if I care for someone, I'm gonna make sure they know it, and she actually backs it up. One
Yeah.
of the biggest things too was when I told her, hey, keto, I told her like, I'm so sorry. I don't know how date nights are gonna go because I'm gonna be on keto, and I stick to 75 hard religiously. Next thing she doesn't even go, oh, how's it gonna go, or this and that, whatever. She had no concern. Her only question was, how can I support you? Then I do this thing with her to where like she'll do something that gets me in my feelings or makes me like, I just love you. I'll be like, babe, heart palpitations. Dude, I'll joke with her and she's like, yeah. So it's like the wavelength that we have with each other, the vibe that we have with each other, it is fucking there.
I
And a
love it.
lot of people
And you
give
were
me
being
crap.
yourself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She
Yeah.
loves my goofiness, and she told me like what I love about you is your personality. Any other person, especially your age, because there is a 5 year difference between us. She's 30, I'm
Oh.
25. Yeah, but she tells me like what I love about it is that even though you're younger than me and I had doubts, you're really solid on your shoulders, even with older
Mm.
men that I've seen. Because
Mm-hmm.
she has an older sister
You're very
as well.
mature for your age. Like we've been saying that.
Yeah, thank God. But also, what she loves is that I know how to pivot with my emotions as well. You guys seen on a Zoom call, like I'll be serious if I have to, but at the same time, if I can crack a couple jokes at the right time, absolutely. Yes. And she loves that.
I would say
And
that when you're talking about the questions, going over the questions, it made me think, because obviously you're in the like honeymoon phase, which is a good place to be in, like getting to know somebody. But I
mhm,
think the cool part of a relationship is when you do have those differences and you see how you guys communicate through them, because you're not always going to agree on everything. There's going to be something
Right.
that comes up where you see it one way, she sees it another, but being able to communicate your side of it, and even if you guys don't come to an understanding, being respectful of the other person's point of view. Those are the moments in relationships that I think are pretty pivotal.
Oh,
Agree.
absolutely. We've already butted heads before, and one of the main things that we butted heads on was the medical field. Obviously, she's an ICU nurse, and so she has certain beliefs leaning towards that camp, and me, especially with my mom's story, which I'm pretty sure
Mm,
you guys are familiar with, and my
yeah.
dad's story as well. I was like, I'm on the other side of the camp. So we've already butted heads in that manner. Like you said, it's cool. We've had open communication about it. And she was like, I understand. And I'm like, I understand. And I told her one thing that she absolutely loves. And I think I said it before here on a Zoom plenty of times. I'm like, listen, I don't need you to like it, but I also don't need you to dislike. I just need you to understand. And she's props, props. I love it. I'm like, thank God.
Raul, were you gonna throw something in there? I saw him unmute for a second, but I don't know if
Oh, yeah. I was actually gonna ask you guys about what your thoughts on prenups are.
I'm 100% in.
I didn't sign one. But we did talk about it and I was cool with it. It just
Yeah,
didn't happen.
I'm like,
100%.
yeah, I'm on
I
the
don't
fence about
care.
it. Yeah, I don't. I feel like where it's almost like you have that backup plan, like in your head, you have it. It's almost like health insurance. A lot of people act like health insurance because they have it, like you can do anything. But the thing is, if something happens and you do have to get surgery, it's not going to be the same as before you did whatever reckless thing you did, and then your body was like how it was before. So if you didn't have insurance, people will tend to try to protect themselves a little bit more if they don't, if they're gonna
Yeah.
have to suddenly pay a huge bill or
Mhm.
whatever, or they might not even get the medical attention because it's so expensive. So that's where I am like, I hesitate because I'm like, in my head, will I have that thought of,
The
well,
safety
I do
net.
have the prenup versus,
Uh-huh.
oh, I shouldn't even have that as a contemplation.
And I
Okay.
think it's interesting hearing it from a guy's perspective. It's
I
so
wish Ray was
interesting.
here.
I do too, because as a girl, like, that's not what we're thinking about. We're not thinking about, if I didn't have a prenup, I could be a little bit more reckless. That's not it at all. And I think that's why there's so many differing opinions about it, because for us, especially if you're someone that has been there while the person is growing their situation, right? You're kind of like, so wait. And if you do the typical gender roles where let's say you stay home and you raise the children and the whatever, right? If you're not working, then you're telling me that I've been here building our whole family this entire time. And if we break up, I'm left with nothing? Like, that doesn't feel right to me. But then you have to go into it with those good intentions. And so I think it's important to come to an understanding while you're in the lovey-dovey, you're my person, I'm your person, we're going to be together forever, and come to what feels fair. Then try to wait until you're 10 years down the line and you haven't been having sex and you don't like the person very much and their socks are in the fucking corner and they don't flush the fucking toilet and they're out late, all whatever it is that you're just, I don't like you anymore, and now we have to make a decision about this money in this house. And I just feel like it's better to make a decision when I want the best for you.
But why don't we like each other anymore? That's the question.
Listen,
That's what I'd want to
I
fix
hear you.
versus, you know what, we don't like each other anymore. Let's get a divorce.
No,
Are
and
you saying
I'm
it's only worth fixing if you haven't set the terms of what happens?
Exactly. You ain't getting my money. I'm just kidding. I guess you would get my money, but I don't know. I'm
but
like,
like, what if the person was like this horror? Like, all people change, right?
yeah.
And it might not be like horrible. It might just be like, I really just don't feel like we're aligned anymore, or I don't know. I'm not a divorce person.
But
I'm
aren't
not.
prenups only for what you have prior to the marriage?
No, you can write it to be anything. You can be like, if we make X amount of dollars, this is how much the person gets for this amount of time. It's
Dang.
literally like, no matter what happens, this is our plan for if we were to dissolve our relationship. My boyfriend and I own all of our businesses 50-50. So what pays us is already divided 50-50. So we're basically in a prenup marriage anyways. But I'm never the, and he was like, we've had this conversation, like, if we ever got married, would you want to do a prenup? And I'm like, I would do it just for you to have peace of mind because I literally want nothing that's not mine.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
literally it. I don't want you to ever think I'm in this for anything other than you. And so what's yours is yours, and I never want that to be a concern for you. And so I'd be happy to sign something because I don't want something that's not mine.
Yeah. I feel like with the nature of divorce, it would be better for in like how you brought it up. I feel like it's better for the woman to bring it up than the man, because if the man brings it up in the typical roles and how divorces, I don't know how they go now, but how they have been in the past.
I would say it needs to be either or. And I say either or because at one point in time too, not at one point in time, like probably 2 years ago, I saw like an article that caught my attention and it made sense when I looked more into it, how there are more single female homeowners than single male homeowners.
If we got a divorce, I would lose more than he did. Like, period. I own my own home, my savings account, my 401k. Like, he's been an entrepreneur his whole life, basically. So he doesn't
Right.
have a 401k. I have a 401k. So if we got divorced, I would end up losing more than he did. And I still would sign one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mostly because, like, I just don't care. I'll give you all of my money right now if you wanted it. Like, for me, it's not about that. It's about maintaining a level of trust that, like, nothing that's not mine comes back with me
Yeah.
because you
No, I
never know
was,
what might happen.
no, you don't. You definitely don't.
And
And
I used to
my,
work at a law firm where they did a lot of divorces, and people get nasty. And you're like, I'm sure you never thought this person would be a horrible person when you got divorced. And now, because you did something and their friends got in their ear, and God forbid, an attorney got in their ear, now they're trying to come for everything you own. And it's like, most of these people would come in and be like, I don't even know who this person is. And you're like, damn, dog, that sucks.
yeah.
Because I don't know how you didn't see it. I'm sure Jackie's like, I'm not worried. I'm not worried with Mark. I'm not worried. I don't care. But I would sign one just because I don't care. And I have nothing to lose because it would never come to that. But I also, if that's what's going to make you comfortable, I'm happy to sign whatever.
I
Or,
think we should just wrap this conversation. But
We've gone
I
way off
do
topic.
think the how Daniel said of just throwing it out there, I don't think is a bad thing just to see the
I don't either.
person's reaction.
Especially if it's something important for you, right? And
Mhm.
I, to bring it back to the misunderstanding concept, you could easily, this girl was somebody you really liked, right? And you were willing to throw the bomb out there to see what happened because you're willing to be misunderstood, for her to misunderstand where you're coming from, like all the other girls did, and still test the waters, right? Because it's genuine to you. Like, it's something that matters to you. So you're willing to be like, hey, how do you feel about this? And then you get the option to dig deeper or just simply be like, that's not going to work for me.
yeah. And don't get me wrong, there's been times where I threw that question out there and the other person said no, and we still try to make it work. Absolutely. Well, we were still talking, we were in a relationship.
Right.
But it was definitely me calling it off, with the exception of maybe two that they decided to call it off. But it was just because, okay, if not, let me see your values, let me see your morals, let me see your mindset. Not there. And I was like, all right, bye.
Right.
Yeah, I
Like it's
think that's
very,
what matters.
yeah,
Agreed.
regardless if there's even a prenup in place or not. And part of me thinks, okay, maybe I was born a little bit too early or too late because I wish I was born earlier to have that like old school love that you see. Like a lot of people are like, I want that Martin and Gina love. Back in the TV show, I see my parents too and how they are, and I'm like, pretty sure they don't have one. I'm pretty sure they make it fine just in not throwing beans out there, but there was definitely highs and lows in the
Absolutely.
relationship, and I feel like every married couple has that. And me, I look at them like, I love that. I want that
Mhm.
for myself too. But now how the culture has shifted nowadays, especially with people my age, oh good God.
And the thing is this, like every time someone talks about this, or I even contemplate having to go back out into the world, I think to myself, you make it what you want, right? I'm not a unicorn. There are other people who think the way that you do. And so it might be a shorter search. Your pool might be smaller, but making sure that you don't care, like the courage to be misunderstood. I am
Yeah,
not like some of these other people that are out here, and I'm okay with that. I don't mind being misunderstood. I don't mind waiting until, that other unicorn walks by and not falling for that whole, like, oh, it's not like it used to be. Like, it's out there. 100 people.
I would say this is definitely something that helps me determine what kind of person I'm working with or talking to in regards to relationship, or at least even friends in general. Actually, let me say friends in general, because I've gotten into arguments over this too. Andrew Tate, I feel like he's highly misunderstood, but also there are some things he says that he says that I will be honest, I don't agree with. At one point, I thought he was like fucking God, but there was also to where my thing was there's some things that I don't agree with. Not saying I don't like it, but I understand where he's coming from because that's his environment now. And that's what he's doing with himself in life. And then other people are like, oh no, that's not right. I'm like, okay, are you making multi-million dollars every single month to the point to where you're driving Bugattis, watches, and everything, living in freaking Romania of all places, doing things internationally where you got to be out left and right? I'm like, no. Okay. So when you get to that point, then come back to me and then tell me you still don't like it.
Yeah, and
And
like people, anytime someone lives their life in a way that's like not normal, people are gonna have
right.
something to say about it. It's like this whole concept, right? This entire
Yeah.
episode was about like living your life to authenticity, and not everyone's gonna like it, and that you have to be okay with that. Otherwise, you're gonna live your life in a way that doesn't feel true to you, and it's
Hmm.
okay if people don't like you. And I think it's brave.
It is. But at the same time, I would say too, like most of the time, the people that are living the very lavish lifestyles is because they did come from a place that they did not like. And if it wasn't them, it was their family before them or generations before. Like I'm pretty sure a lot of people they have it easy and of course inheritance and people that, came from wealthy families and then some, but it takes work to maintain that wealth too. The Rothschilds back in the day, God knows who know where they're at. Maybe they're not as popular in social media, but back then they were the rave. Ford back then. Yeah, his family probably still doing good, but not all the rave now because now the popular generational wealth families that people follow, it takes a lot of maintenance to maintain that status, if you will. But it also stems from, to wrap up the previous conversation as well, finding a good partner to keep you level head and to make sure you're at the same morals and values to have kids with, to maintain future generations who you'll still instill those morals and values. Because then the cycle will repeat itself to where wealthy, then you get poor, people are going to get pissed off, then you got to work to build that wealth back up, and then do whatever's necessary to maintain it and make sure nobody messes around with it. And that's part of the reason why some of the people I look up to now, they came from that lower class one way or another, and they hated it, but they also did something about it too.
Yeah.
I think a good way to wrap up is on the tools to build courage because I think it's easier for people that have taken the entrepreneur route to feel okay with leaning into that being misunderstood, but people that live a typical lifestyle aren't usually going out of their way to be misunderstood. They're typically fitting in with the norms and what feels comfortable. So yeah, we can just touch on those really quick.
Yeah, that the truth practice is a hard one because that for no, so I shouldn't say that. The truth practice is a hard one for me because you want to soften the blow for people and you don't want them to think that you're doing too much or trying too hard or being too loud. And so there's literally been videos where I've said something that I felt very strongly about. That was a truth. I'm sure it was about entrepreneurship and some people just being punks and not being built for it. And I deleted it because I was like, oh, my 9 to 5 friends are not gonna like this, or this is gonna hit too hard for some people. And I've been trying to be better about that, about just being like, whatever. It's not made for them. They're probably not even gonna see it. Who cares? But the people who resonate with it, the people who are gonna be like, yeah, you're right. There are people who are in this for the wrong reason, or whatever the opinion might be, and letting that freedom to say the thing that might make you misunderstood live out there in the world. That's hard. When this one popped up, I was like, ugh, hard.
I think just the reminder too, I liked the permission slip because sometimes you just have to tell yourself like it's okay to be misunderstood. It I think it really does fall back into what your values are and staying true to what feels authentic to you and just understanding that not everybody is going to think exactly the same way that you do. And yeah, it sometimes I think putting it out there is important, but other times, and I think you just have to have discernment, other times keep it to yourself.
Agreed.
Yeah,
It's literally like that dance of, am I saying this just for my own ego, or do I feel like this is going to help somebody?
And
no, I
then
would
yeah,
agree. My point exactly. So huge debate from both sides of the camp. Part of the reason why I like following big news headlines because I'm seeing like all these comments left and right. I'm seeing some people talk about it when I'm like working out in the gym without headphones, which sometimes I dread, but sometimes like people think I'm crazy and I love it. And it's definitely like pretty much 100% guilty. Somehow, some way he got dismissed it. And we're like,
Mm,
the attorney must be fantastic. That or it's in
crazy.
a state to where it's more leaning towards, hey, slap on the wrist, you're good to go. So that's part of the reason why a lot of people they like to avoid politics, but I'll use that as another way to throw into misunderstanding part. Be like, hey, you might avoid it. Okay, I'll avoid it too. You
Mm.
bring
News
it
is
up,
wild.
bring it up.
News is wild.
Yeah,
It
I
Like,
is.
don't, it's so much noise that has zero to do with me and what the fuck I'm trying to do in my life that I just don't pay attention. And
I
it's
feel
not
like
like
you
I
can't
couldn't.
trust things
You
either.
can't
Like,
trust it. Like,
Right.
yeah,
I told the jokes to some people as well too. It's like the news is not good enough unless South Park makes an episode of it. Then it's really good.
that's funny.
And it's really fucking good.
Yeah, I just
But
feel like there's a lot of it's distracting negative energy. That's what I feel every time I watch the news. I feel like it's just distracting negative energy that's just trying to make us all hate each other. And I'm like, I don't subscribe to this. I
yeah.
just don't.
No, with me, it's more along the lines of exposing myself to that kind of stuff to know what to expect in case shit like that happens. Like you say something wrong, people are gonna freaking twist it the wrong way. Or if you do this type of action, you know what to expect later on. People might do something else. But at the same time, too, it's also to the point where it doesn't really phase me at all. Like I
Mhm.
know I'm going in there with a healthy mindset and I will my mom told me too, like prime example, and I'll share the story so hopefully you guys will understand where I'm coming from. She told me at one point in college, she had to write an essay as to why smoking is beneficial to your health. And she's completely against it. But she told me like I like thinking that in that regard because it taught me to think another way to where now I'm understanding both sides of why, okay, some people are like this and why some people aren't. And that's part of the reason why I developed my mindset now to where it's, hey, I understand where you're coming from. I honestly do. And if I don't, I will tell you straight up because there's some things where it's common fucking sense. But then again, that could be another perspective for someone else as well. So
For
it
sure.
takes a lot of people to make up the world, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to ask yourself, are you willing to be misunderstood or not? That should be the closing for this clip. You're welcome.
Yes.
I love it. Mic drop.
Mic
Well,
drop. Bye.
Bye.